Hello. Now, with this lesson, we will be combining index laws 1 and 2. So we'll be seeing basically fractions and also multiplying fractions. So it involves both index laws. You also need to be good with your fraction skills. So if that's something you're lacking, go back to the previous lessons and just revise the lesson on some basic fraction skills and also algebra skills if you need to. Now, we'll start off with a more simple example. If I have, let's see, 4a to the power of 3 over a to the power of 10 times c to the power of 10, and we'll put a b. I'll do a 4b on the bottom. So here's my question. Sorry that it looks messy. Now, if you remember our basic, our fraction skills, we can simplify anything from the top and anything from the bottom. Now, we have to simplify before we multiply. It's an important skill that you need to practice and need to know. Yes, we can go 4a to the power of 3 times c to the power of 10, and then a to the power of 10 times 4b, and end up with numbers and variables on top and bottom, and then simplify. But that is a long way of doing it. And as teachers want to see your skill in simplifying before you multiply. So if you remember, we can simplify anything from the top vertically, so up and down, or anything diagonally, because it's still top, bottom, or bottom, top. We can't simplify anything across. So I can't go a to the power of 3 and c to the power of 10. Just say I could, I couldn't simplify anyway because they're on top, both on top, and we can't do that. So if I have a look, I can see, first of all, I've got a 4 here and a 4 there. Now I might just change my color while simplifying. So I can cross off that 4 and cross off that 4. Top, bottom, that's fine. And by crossing it off, I simply divided by 4. Easy. I have a look at my A. Do I have any A's on the bottom? Yes, I do. Straight underneath, I've got an A. Now, remember the second index law, we covered this. So if I've got 3 A's on top and 10 on the bottom, I can take away 3 from top and it's really a 1. So I also had a 1 with my 4s. And 10 take away 3. So I took away 3 from the top. 10 take away 3 leaves me with a 7. I'll have a look at my other variables. I've got a C on, well, 10 C's on top, but I don't have anything on the bottom. And I've got a B on the bottom and no B's on top. So there is nothing else that I can simplify. So now I'll just multiply across and see what I end up with. So I've got 1 times c to the power of 10, which is just c to the power of 10, over, I've got an a to the power of 7 times a b. So a to the power of 7 times a b. I can't add their powers. I know b is to the power of 1, but I can't add 7 plus 1 because a and b are different base numbers. It's very important. They have to be the same. So there is nothing else I can do, and that would be my final answer. So we'll try another question where when we do multiply, we may have to add some powers. So let's try something like this. I've got b to the power of 7, c to the power of 2, and e over b to the power of 10. We'll chuck an a in there, and we'll chuck in a t to the power of, I don't know, 17, times b to the power of 3, a to the power of 2, e, and down below we can put t to the power of 2. I'll put another a, and I'll put in a c. Now, it's starting to look a bit more complicated, but if you follow all of those steps, then you can't go wrong. So our first step is to simplify before we multiply. Now I'll use a different color. You do the same if it helps you. Just pick one variable, one base, and one at a time, and you'll be fine. So I've got a b first, so I'm going to check if I have any b's on the bottom. Okay, must be from the bottom. I've got 10 b's down here on this side, so I'll simplify that. So I can take away 7 from the top, and that's my smallest amount I can take away. And 10 take away 7, I am left with 3. You can start writing it out now if you want to, but I'll leave it to the end. My next, now I've got a b to the power of 3 up here as well. So I'm left with b to the power of 3 down here. Can I simplify this b up here and these b's down there? Yes, I can, because one is on top and the other one's on the bottom. Now they happen to be the same, b cubed and b cubed, so I can just simply cross it off and they're gone, because 3 take away 3 down here is just 1, and then 3 take away 3 over here will leave me with 1 as well. So they're gone. No more b's left. Move on to my c. So I've got c squared up here. Do I have any c's down here? No. Any more down here? Yes, I do. I've got c to the power of 1. So I can simplify that. I can go, well, take away my smallest amount, which is 1 from there. Okay, it's gone. And 2 take away 1, I'm left with a c. Next variable, e. Do I have any e's on the bottom? No, I don't. I do have an e up here, but I cannot cross them off because they are both on top. So be very careful. There has to be an e on the bottom for me to simplify, and in this example, there isn't. Move on. A. Okay, I've got 2 a's on top, and I can see I've got an a down here and an a down there. So I'll just pick whichever one I want to simplify. I'll just stick on this side, I guess. So 2 a's on top and 1 on the bottom. That one can go. And 2 take away 1, I am left with an a on top. But because I still have an a on top here and an a down there, well, I can cross that a off with that one. 1 take away 1 and 1 take away 1. And we know it's not a 0, we're left with a 1. And I've got my last variable, t to the power of 17 and t to the power of 2. Unfortunately, they are both on the bottom, so I cannot simplify them. I have no t's on top, so I'm stuck there. Now, I think I've done everything. If I didn't, that's okay, but I can check later on. So before I multiply across, I'm going to write what I have left so I can see it clearly. So 1 times c times e. So be careful that you don't forget anything, because the working out can get a bit messy. So on top, I'll be left with c. Now remember, there's times everywhere, so c times e is just ce. Okay, over on the bottom, no b's are left. I've crossed them off. I've got a 1, so it was all 1s everywhere, but I'm left with t to the power of 17 on the bottom on this side. Times up here, I've got no a's left, no b's left, but I do have this e here, and I know there's 1 times e. I can just write my e over. I've got no a left, but I've got, or c's, but I've got 2 t's, t squared times 1, which is just t squared. I've just double checked that I have everything, and now I will continue to multiply this out. So on top, we simply go ce times e. Now remember, I'll change my pen to make it a bit more clearer. Now remember, if we are multiplying the same base, we have to add their powers. So I've got a c, no c on this side, so up above I will have a c sitting there by itself, but e times e, I know now the first index law applies. I have to add their powers, so I've got e to the power of 2. And down below, yes, I have the same base, which is a t and a t, so I add their powers because I am multiplying. So 17 plus 2, get my base ready, which is t. 17 plus 2 is simply 19. So t to the power of 19. And I'll just have a check. Maybe I may have left something out. I haven't. I can't simplify anything else. So that is all I can do. So this example was a more challenging one. I should have perhaps started off with a more easy one, but you should be getting the hang of it. Keep simplifying until you can't simplify anymore. If your working out is getting messy, then just rewrite it out and keep rewriting it out until you get the final answer. We'll try another example, and I'll just pause it and I wrote a question up to save us some time. Now, once again, we have to simplify before we multiply, and start with one thing at a time so you don't get confused with what you're doing. So I will simply start off with my numbers first. So just like my normal fraction skills, I've got 9 on top, On the bottom, there is no number I can simplify it with. 9 and 10 I can't simplify. So I'll try my 10, and I can see, yep, 10 there and a 10 there that I can cross off. Or I'm really dividing by 10, so I'm getting a 1. Done. Next, M. So I've got 5 M's here, 6 M's there, no M's on this side. Well, I can simplify top and bottom, take away my smallest amount, and I'm left with a 1. And 6 take away 5, I'm left with 1M. Now, move on to my ends. I've got 2 ends up here. Do I have any ends on the bottom? Yes, I do. And I also have an end on the top as well, but I'll just work with this one here. So 2 ends on top and 2 on the bottom. Well, I can just cross them off. A nice trick there. If they're the same, just cross them off. It's really a 1 that I'm left with. I have no more ends on the bottom, so that end up here, I can't cross it off with anything because all my ends are gone. So it's just stuck up there. T, well, I noticed that I've got a T there, and 2 T's here. Well, I can't simplify this T and these 2 T's because they're both on top, but I can do this T down here and that T down there. That's nice and easy because they're both gone now. And 1 and 1. Let's see what I have left. I've got a Z on the bottom. No Z's on top, so I can't simplify that. I also have a P on this side down here. No P's on top. So just double check if there is anything else we can simplify, and there doesn't seem to be anything else. So what I'll do is, before I multiply everything out, I'll rewrite my new, I guess, fractions and see what I have left, just so I don't make a mistake. So I've got a 9 left, because 9 times 1 times 1 times 1 is just 9. Times, here I have 1 times n times t squared. So I'll be left with n t squared. Okay, over. Down here, 1 times m times 1 is just an m. And down below, I'm left with a p. So that's there. They are all my leftovers. And now I'll have to multiply top and go across and bottom and go across. So 9 times n t squared is just going to be 9 n t squared. We know the multiplication has become invisible. And m times p is just mp. I can't add their powers because nothing has the same base. There's nothing with the same base. So that will be our final answer.